with Manila Mayor Isko Moreno daring her to make the supreme sacrifice and quit the race. Moreno even accused her camp of forcing him to withdraw. Today, Vice President Leni Robredo speaks up.
Hindi ko siya papatulan dahil hindi naman ito simpleng laban lang namin dalawa. Yung laban nito ng bayan natin, may mas malaking laban na kailangan nating panalunin.
There's also this claim that she said there would be chaos if she doesn't win.
Siguro ibabalik ko yung question sa media. Narinig niyo na ba ako at any point na sinabi ko yon? Kasi ako, never ko yun sinabi.
We've been covering her since she announced her presidential bid in October 2021. Not once did she say anything about it. This is the second time that the Robredo-Pangilinan tandem visited Cebu. The province is home to over 3 million voters. In 2016, Robredo won with 800,000 votes. Marcos with 300,000 votes. But it could be a different story this year, after the son of the late dictator secured the backing of one Cebu party led by Governor Gwen Garcia. Robredo, on the other hand, has the support of Bando Osmeña Pundok Kauswagan, another major party in Cebu. Is she confident of a repeat victory?
Very optimistic ako. In the first place, yung volunteerism na nakikita ko sa Cebu ngayon, wala ito noong 2016. Yung mga local officials naman na tumulong sa atin in 2016, kasama pa din natin ngayon.
A grand rally in Mandaue City will cap off Robredo's visit here in Cebu. On Monday, her fiercest rival staged his own rally, drawing supposedly 300,000 supporters, his largest campaign crowd yet. Will Robredo match or even surpass it? Who will carry the country's most vote-rich province this May? In Danao City, Anjo Alimario, CNN Philippines.
The Akbayan party list mounts another protest demanding presidential candidate Bongbong Marcos to settle his family's unpaid estate taxes. Akbayan members trooped to the Bureau of Internal Revenue today, calling on Marcos to, quote, withdraw 203 billion pesos from his family's ill-gotten wealth deposits. The group also took a swipe at other candidates following the Easter Sunday press conference where Robredo was asked to back out of the race.
Ang dapat mag-withdraw si Bongbong Marcos, i-withdraw na niya ang 203 billion pesos na utang sa kaban ng bayan. Huwag tayo magpalinlang sa mga trolls at bagong spokesperson ng mga Marcoses na napukunwaring presidential candidates. Sa paglilihis ng usapin, ang nakikinabang ang mga Marcoses kasi nakakalimutan yung totoong mahalagang usapin.
Akbayan also reiterated its call to the BIR to seize the Marcos family's bank accounts. The BIR confirmed it wrote a demand letter to the Marcoses in December and asked them to pay their unsettled taxes. Well, Marcos is staying the course as he returns to the country's most vote-rich region, the Calabar zone. His rival, Vice President Leni Robredo, is gaining a strong momentum there based on the latest pulsation survey. Joining us live from Binyan City in Laguna is our correspondent Rex and Media. Rex, what's going on there so far? There seems to be a brewing close fight between Marcos and Robredo in that region.
We're here near the football stadium beside the City Hall where Marcos will hold what his camp calls a grand rally. As you can see right behind me, groups of supporters have been going here since lunchtime, and most of them are wearing red and green. With them are their banners and flaglets showing support for Marcos. They also flatly deny they were paid 500 pesos to show up. Various artists have been entertaining them as they wait for Marcos and the Uniteam senators. The presidential hopeful is expected to arrive anytime soon with his running mate Sara Duterte. Uniteam Alliance insiders tell us Laguna Governor Ramil Hernandez is attending the rally. We will find out if he will openly endorse Marcos. In the past, the governor introduced him as the next president. So how important is Calabarzon for the Marcos campaign? Marcos has visited Laguna and Batangas 4 times each, the most among all provinces since the pre-campaign period. Calabarzon is the most vote-rich region with 9.1 million voters. Laguna is the 4th most vote-rich gold-rich province with 2.04 million voters. Marcos's sorties in the region happen at a time when his fiercest rival, Vice President Leni Robredo, is picking some momentum here. In the last Pulse Asia survey dated March 17 to 21, Marcos and Robredo are statistically tied in Calabarzon. From 51 percentage points in February, Marcos shed 13% to settle at 38%. Robredo, on the other hand, gained the most in Calabarzon among all regions. From 9%, she now has 37%. This despite Marcos bagging endorsements from Governors John Vic Remulla of Cavite, Dodo Mandanas of Batangas, and Danny Suarez of Quezon. The close fight between the two in Calabarzon is looking like a repeat of what happened when they ran for vice president. They also fought the closest here among all regions. In 2016, Robredo won by just over 100,000 votes, or nearly 2% of the total in the region. Since the pre-campaign period, Marcos has been campaigning mostly in Luzon. Political analysts say he's consolidating support in areas where he performed relatively stronger in the 2016 elections. Marcos earlier said nothing will change in his strategy. His campaign routine has shifted from holding motorcades and rallies to more of grand rallies in vote-rich cities. He's also doing what he calls consultations with parallel groups and various sectors. Pia.
Rex, is Marcos holding a rally in Pasay City on Saturday, not very far from the venue of Robredo's scheduled birthday rally on Macapagal Boulevard?
His chief of staff, Attorney Vic Rodriguez, denies they will hold a grand campaign rally at or near the SM Mall of Asia grounds. This despite circulating reports on social media that they will hold a grand rally at the Asiana grounds near the Macapagal Boulevard. Rodriguez says that Marcos will instead join his candidate for mayor in Manila, Alex Lopez, during their proclamation rally on Bustillo Street. Back to you, Pia.
Rex and Mito there reporting from Laguna. Still on Marcos, the transport group is endorsing the former senator and vice presidential bet, Tito Soto. The Philippine Transport Monitor, or Philtram, says its advocacies are aligned with the platforms of the candidates. Philtram adds Marcos's call for unity resonates with them, while Soto is a seasoned politician. The group consists of tricycle and jeepney drivers as well as food delivery riders. Labor leader Caliotti de Guzman says Marcos has a high chance of winning based on the latest voter preference surveys, but de Guzman notes so much can happen in the last 2 minutes and that Robredo is the closest contender. The Labor leader also acknowledges his chances are low, but says he was able to offer a different brand of politics.
Ako naman ay nag-offer ng bagong politika, bagong klase ng politika, bagong klase ng ekonomiya, isang politika ng masa, isang politika ng mga mahihirap, hindi ng mga mayayaman. Ngayon, kung hindi pa tanggapin ng ating mga kababayan yun, at dahil sa mahabang history ng trapong politika sa ating bansa, o hindi lang trapo, yung dynastiyang politika sa ating bansa, o elite na politika sa ating bansa, edi so be it. Ang mahalaga na sinisimulan ko ito para sa ating mga mamayan, para sa katotoong pagbabago.
De Guzman called for unity among rivals to avoid a Marcos win, but instead of withdrawing for other candidates, the Labor leader urged candidates to unite in educating the public about atrocities during martial law. Updates on the aftermath of Tropical Storm Agaton. Data officials reported death toll of 182 from landslides. 126 bodies were recovered in Baybay City alone. The search and retrieval operations continue today with 69 from the city still missing. 100 policemen already sent to Baybay yesterday to take over for those previously deployed. Meanwhile, no movement in the nationwide count for casualties at 178 deaths and 111 missing. The NDR-RMC still verifying other Agaton casualty reports. Straight ahead on Newsnight, new developments in the Bukidnon shooting probe. Authorities have identified 3 persons of interest in the incident that marred the activity of presidential candidate Yodi de Guzman. And how far would you go for your idol? One fan of Taylor Swift went as far as naming a millipede after the Grammy-winning artist. Details right here on CNN Philippines.
RPN DXKP Pagadian. Ang inyong Radyo Ronda. RPN. Radio Philippines Network. Radio Philippines Network. Live to the world. Pinaagi sa FB page. Karon, mag-download na. Pinaagi sa Google Play o Apple Store, YouTube o Twitter. Alang sa mas kipakuskan ng mga balita, komentaryo, kasayuran o kalingawan. Ang mas kipakuskan ng inyong Radyo Ronda. Denver, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Welcome back to Newsnight. Again, our top story, Vice President Leni Robredo brushing aside Manila Mayor Isko Moreno's recent attacks against her, including a call for her to back out of the race and an accusation that she asked other presidential candidates to withdraw. During his visit to Angono in Rizal today, Moreno again hit Robredo and accused her of looking down on the poor.
Hindi naman ako nakikipag-away. I'm just stating the facts. Na bully sila mata pobre. Maliit ang tingin nila sa amin. Diba? Mataas ang pagtingin nila sa sarili nila, kaya sila nanghihingi ng withdrawal ng iba nila kalaban. So wala namang away doon. We are just stating facts na ang mga pink bully. At sila Leni, mata pobre. That's my opinion. And that's it. Basta sila mata pobre. Sila mata pobre. Sila mata pobre.
Police have 3 persons of interest in the shooting during presidential candidate Yodi de Guzman's visit to the town of Quezon in Bukidnon on Tuesday. Some believe the incident stemmed from a dispute over ancestral land. Stanley Gajeta has the latest on the investigation.
Wilson Anglao, a member of Manobo Pulangian tribe, joined presidential candidate Yodi de Guzman in entering the ancestral land on Tuesday noontime, just before the shooting happened.
Na-meet nyo si Mayor noong April 18. Apo,
Anong mismo talagang sabi sa inyo?
pwede lang gamitin yung mga bakanting lupa pero di naman niya sinabing pasukin namin agad-agad. Si Chairman Orlando Rabanera po, saka siya na rin doon sa bakit doon sa mga dokumento namin na may notice to bakit na rin kasi yun na yung ginamit na lang namin bilang pananggasana pero di umubra.
In a press conference, others involved in the incident also shared their sentiments, expressing fear and confusion, knowing that the lease grazing management agreement issued long ago to a private company by the DNR Region 10 had expired in 2018.
Hindi naman kami makapag-away sa inyo, wala naman kaming armas. Ang dami na pong gastos namin, ang dami na naming hirap. Halos araw-araw, gabi-gabi. Gumagawa kami ng mga papilis na kailangan nila. Mayroon namang area na hindi ginagamit at saka wala naman tanim. So sana doon kami magsitol.
Meron lang notice ng to vacate yung lugar pero ayaw i-turn over nung mayor ng Quezon. Pero dahil sa kaya yung mga tao nandoon sa gilid ng kalsada pero kahit yung 4 hectare out of halos 1,000 na hektarya ayaw pang ipagkaloob para sa kaligtasan ng ating mga katutubo doon sa lansangan.
Philippine National Police spokesperson Jean Fajardo tells CNN Philippines that the investigation on Bukidnon shooting is progressing.
Meron na rin tayong 3 persons of interest na may kinalaman, possibly may kinalaman at nakapag-participate dun sa nangyaring kaguluhan doon sa area.
The involved security guards handed over 8 shotguns, 2 9mm pistols, and 1 caliber .38 that will undergo inspection and examination for gunpowder residue. The guards' possible link to the office of the municipal mayor is not being ruled out as well. Injured witnesses can testify about the incident once they have healed.
Respetuhin sana natin yung legal practices at huwag manguna yung mga personal interest ng mga may concern dito sa kaso na ito dahil nga parehong may claim yung magkabilang partido na sila yung rightful owner nitong property in question.
Stanley Gaete, CNN Philippines.
Election-related violence is on the rise in the run-up to the May 9 polls. The COMELEC, however, remains reluctant to place more areas under its control. Our Melissa Lopez reports.
The Commission on Elections is counting on its peace covenant caravans nationwide to deter the escalation of election-related violence less than 3 weeks before the May 9 polls. Chairman Saidamen Pangarungan visited Abra on Thursday to diffuse tensions there, but stopped short of putting the province under COMELEC control despite recent clashes. Just last month, police engaged in a standoff with bodyguards of Pilar Town Vice Mayor Jaja Disono after speeding past a checkpoint.
Ang ating COMELEC Regional Election Director, ang sabi sa akin ay hindi kailangan ideklara ang Abra under COMELEC control. I assure you that the COMELEC takes this seriously and will take necessary action to ensure that this kind of violence does not threaten the forthcoming election.
9 towns in Abra are placed under yellow alert, but Pangarungan explains these are not of urgent concern. Pangarungan says he hopes the peace covenants will dissuade further firefights with Basilan and Negros Oriental at their next destinations. The poll body has so far placed only 2 areas in Lanao del Sur province under COMELEC control due to recent spate of killings. This means local officials and law enforcement agencies in Tubaran and Malabang towns are under the poll body's supervision. The police and military also have a say on whether or not areas can be tagged as election hotspots. Pangarungan also hesitates to put Maguindanao under the tightest restrictions, even if 12 towns are hotly contested for the polls.
Actually, nagbabarilan na sila ngayon, mga ambush-ambush, but hindi pa lumalala. Pag lumala yan, mapipilitan na kung i-declare yan under COMELEC control.
Commissioners were divided on the plan to give Pangarungan a special power to immediately declare a municipality or province under COMELEC control. He prevailed, but the chairman says he's hopeful he wouldn't have to exercise this authority. Melissa Lopez, CNN Philippines.
The Finance Department rejects proposals to exempt from income tax the honoraria and allowances given to teachers and other poll workers for May 9. The DOF tells senators these payments are part of a person's gross income subject to 20% income tax. The House of Representatives approved a measure seeking tax exemption for the honoraria and benefits of election workers last year. Senate Ways and Means Committee Chair Pia Cayetano says she will balance the DOF's concerns with the plight of the teachers.
Exempting one kind of activity, in this case the electoral services that our teachers provide, will be inequitable to other similar activities that provide a similar kinds of benefits. So it's like saying that we want to prefer one service and give exceptions to them to the detriment of others.
I have to be practical also in my committee report. Kung sobrang hirap naman din for DOF to do that, then baka lalong hindi pwedeng ma-veto yan, ha? That's to be clear, 'di ba? Hindi natin alam.
About 600,000 teaching and non-teaching personnel will serve in the May 9 elections. Some of them say a 20% tax has already been deducted from their transportation allowances during training. Millions of residents in Shanghai, in China, have been allowed out of their homes as weeks of stringent lockdowns batter China's largest economic hub. Tristan Nadala spoke to some Filipinos there who are already making desperate calls for help.
Millions living in Shanghai can see a glimmer of hope as restrictions begin to ease and cases showing a downward trend.
There's some degree of relaxation, mostly on the economic major manufacturing, just to get business and logistics going. But as for the movement of people, the policy remains zero COVID.
As the world's second largest economy struggles due to the wave of infections in March and early April, Filipino workers in Shanghai share their ordeal and struggle to survive.
No work, no pay po. Yun po ang problema kasi dito lang kami sa building namin.
Leonisa says many of them are now using their hard-earned money to make ends meet, with prices of food products tripled due to limited supply. But even buying basic necessities has become a challenge due to the lockdown.
Close po lahat ang bilihan dito. Hindi naman po kami madeliveran ng pagkain dito.
Now jobless and moneyless, not a few Filipinos are asking to be repatriated.
Sana po ay matulungan na kaming makauwi.
The Philippine Consulate General in Shanghai says help is on the way.
We are doing our best talaga to listen to the pleas and be assured we are working earnestly to get the assistance to you as soon as possible in coordination with Manila.
Meanwhile, the consulate says at least 13 Filipinos in Shanghai are infected by the virus.
Whether you're a foreigner or the Chinese, or a Chinese national, yung direct po na management of the case rests entirely on the part of the Shanghai health authorities. Those who are infected are put in facilities that meet acceptable standards, internationally acceptable standards.
Due to restrictions in terms of distributing aid to some 4,000 Filipinos in Shanghai, or what Chief Hans Kakdak says the government is eyeing to use digital vouchers.
It won't be food that we will be distributing on the ground. Rather, it will be fund resources.
The government is still waiting for the go signal of Shanghai authorities on the repatriation as flights to and from the Chinese city remain limited. But once Filipinos are back here in the Philippines, the government assures to provide them livelihood and employment assistance. Tristan Nadalo, CNN Philippines.
When we return, a one-of-a-kind tribute to Taylor Swift, researchers in the U.S. state of Virginia name a millipede after the multi-awarded singer. And we bring you up to date on all the UAAP basketball action from Ateneo's 36th consecutive win to UP and Adamson's showdown. Keep it here on Newsnight.
RPN DXKP Pagadian. Ang inyong Radyo Ronda. RPN. Radio Philippines Network. Radio Philippines Network. Live to the world. Pinaagi sa FB page. Karon, mag-download na. Pinaagi sa Google Play o Apple Store, YouTube o Twitter. Alang sa mas kipakuskan ng mga balita, komentaryo, kasayuran o kalingawan. Ang mas kipakuskan ng inyong Radyo Ronda Network.
Kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Welcome back to CNN Philippines Entertainment News. First, Swifties are sure to love this newly discovered millipede named after the 11-time Grammy winner Taylor Swift. The Swift twisted claw millipede is one of 16 new species identified by researchers from Virginia Tech in the U.S. Taylor's music apparently helped the lead scientist get through graduate school, so he felt it appropriate to name the discovery after her. The millipede is only found in Tennessee, where the pop star grew up. Still, in music, powerhouse vocalist Sam Smith is dropping a new single. Love Me More comes out next Friday, April 29th, Philippine time. Fans who want a preview of the emotional ballad can watch a snippet of Sam's recording session on YouTube. And back here at home, sports news now. Lots of excitement on the UAAP hardcourt today, beginning with a blowout win by the Ateneo Blue Eagles. The Ateneo crushed the UST Growling Tigers 101-51 at the Mall of Asia Arena. The massive 50-point gap is the largest margin of victory since UAAP stats were computerized. The Blue Eagles are assured of their 7th straight Final Four spot. The FEU Tamarao scored a 59-57 win against the NU Bulldogs after Cyrus Torres hit a triple with 2.2 seconds left in the game. The Bulldogs and Tamaraos are now tied for 4th place in the standings, both with 4 wins and 6 losses. And the Adamson Soaring Falcons and the UP Fighting Maroons battling it out in the 4th quarter, with Adamson in the lead 59-57. Okay. Now it is 62-57. If the Blue Falcons keep it up, they will break UP's winning streak at 8 and join NU and FEU at 4th place currently. More action at 7 tonight with LaSalle facing UE at the Mall of Asia Arena. And that is it for tonight. Join me again on News.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pio Ontiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. The latest Lilo survey for March puts Bongbong Marcos way ahead of the pack with 61% voter preference. Denny Robredo has 19%, Isko Moreno 9%, Manny Pacquiao 6%, Ping Lacson 2%. The numbers taken for the March 15 to 22 survey, 3,000 respondents, plus minus 2% margin of error. Robredo showed up at debates and colored so many areas all over pink with upbeat rallies, picking up a few endorsements here and there. Moreno hanging in there, believing he still has a fighting chance. Pacquiao saying on Monday only God can instruct him to withdraw from the race. and Lacson, orphaned by a major Mindanao politician, choosing to resign from his own party, announcing a change in his campaign tagline. And Marcos, well, what else is there to say? Consistent survey frontrunner, debate skipper with a few exceptions, and just today, an endorsement from the Nacionalista Party, Manny Villar, father of one of his senatorial candidates. The juggernaut Marcos Duterte tandem looks so formidable. What else is there to do for those who want to defeat them? A vice presidential candidate suggested a last-ditch effort.
We should start talking. Nobody among us can defeat Sara among the VPs, and nobody among the presidential candidate can defeat Bongbong Marcos. If we do not start talking now and come up with a single slate, a single tandem para one-on-one to defeat Marcos and Sara Duterte. Sino ba yung third most powerful person now? Kahit naman tingnan nyo dun sa survey, I don't mind supporting Senator Soto, no? And I don't mind supporting Lenny Robredo, if that is the case.
Will that be enough 40 or so days before the Filipino votes? Good evening, I'm Pia Ontiveros. Welcome to your weekly political appointment fix, Politics as Usual. We begin tonight with Vice Presidential candidate Lito David joining us here in the studio, together with analyst Richard Heydarian, who will sit throughout the whole show. So Lito, David, that proposal of yours, when you said that a few weeks ago, had you already spoken to anyone before you opened your mouth at the debate venue?
Actually, hindi. Pero yung sinabi ko nung Sunday, may nauna na akong press conference na ginawa noon eh. Pero hindi pinikap masyado yung proposal na yon. Iba yung inilabas na material, no? But nung ano
at
kasi...
At iba yung effect nito eh.
Oo. Kasi ito ano... Anyway, yung footage kanina, that was before I went into the venue, no? So, nung nagdatingan yung ibang kandidato, in-interview na rin sila doon tungkol doon sa proposal ko. So, pagdating namin doon sa loob, kinausap ko naman sila isa-isa eh. Mali, with the exception of Kiko. Na
Why
hindi
with
ko
the
nakita.
exception of Kiko?
Hindi ko nakita eh.
Ay, okay.
Pinuntahan ko sa mga cubicle eh.
Okay.
Even si Senator Soto, ganyan,
Okay.
no? Sina Walden, si Manny.
Ano sinasabi nila lahat?
Well, open naman sila to discuss. Open to discuss these things. Kaya lang, ang problema dyan, hindi lang pwede na kaming mga vice presidents. Dapat talaga yung yung buo, no, kasama yung ulo ng bawat partido. So nung inilabas ko yung sa final statement, alam na nila 'yon. Alam na nila na although hindi ko sinasabi na yun yung magiging final statement ko. And then even after that, I went to see some of them again. Okay ba? Pag-usapan natin.
Ano sabi?
Okay.
Okay.
Ang hinahanap ko ngayon yung magpa-facilitate. Kasi alam mo, hindi naman basta-basta yan na magsasama-sama lang kami.
Yeah.
Alam mo naman sa politika, ma'am, medyo syempre, what's in it for me? No? Para dun sa iba, no? So, yung nitty-gritty nitong Grand Coalition na aking proposal, medyo matagal yung proseso nun. Pero in principle, dapat nag-a-agree na kami ngayon na isa na lang ang kandidato ng for Vice President na non-administration candidates, tsaka isa na lang para sa Presidente for non-administration candidates. So, ang mangyayari niya, in fact, ang sinasabi ko nun, sana yung last na magiging debate ng kandidato na sponsored ng COMELEC, one-on-one na, no? So, kumbaga, Bongbong against who, no? Sara against who.
Kung pupunta sila.
Hindi, mas maganda kung hindi sila pumunta.
Hindi mo monolog na lang. Okay.
They will lose by default, no?
Oo.
Ang kagandahan nito kasi, wala naman ako sinasabing mag-withdraw yung mga kandidato eh. Ang sinasabi ko, continue on campaigning, but campaigning for the person that we chose. And then, siguro dun sa final 2 weeks, we'll have 3 or 4 grand rallies na lahat ng kandidato for president at lahat ng kandidato for vice president supporting yung dalawa, no? Nando doon, no? Iba yung impact noon sa taong bayan. Pag nakita yon, bakit nga ganyan, no? So matatabunan lahat yung mga naunang projections eh.
Oo. Yeah, a while ago, Lito, you said na ang hinahanap ko yung may mag-facilitate but you've been talking to them. So are there any totoong nag-uusap na talaga kayo, mga VP?
Yes, meron naman pag-uusap. Kaya lang, yung magpa-facilitate ang importante dahil kailangan merong semblance ng kumbaga fair, pagiging fair nung
Someone impartial. So, sino yon? Who are you looking for?
Well,
and is it going to happen? It's March 29.
It has to come from the faith-based leadership. No?
Faith-based leadership meaning?
Posibleng CBCP. No? I think yun lang naman ang pinakamaganda talaga. No? Not exactly yung high up in the hierarchy of the the clergy. Possibly sa level ng mga executive directors ng mga commissions, no? Para hindi rin naman makakompromise ang CBCP kasi hindi naman talaga dapat.
No? Lito, what you're saying tonight is that there are serious talks among the VP contenders, all 9 of you, so that without anyone withdrawing, 8 of you will support that one candidate will be your common candidate. That's what you're saying.
Yes, I'm hoping na ganun yung mangyayari.
Okay. Richard, what do you think of this? Is this going to be the solution, kumbaga, no? Because the reason for this proposal by Lito David is, to defeat this BBM Sara impending victory.
I mean, that's why sinasabi ko dati pa na kailangan natin ng runoff elections, di ba? I mean, that's the whole point of runoff elections. Had countries like Peru or Chile, if they didn't have runoff elections, they would have a radically different leadership right now. It could have been the daughter of former dictator Fujimori. It could have been a pro-Pinochet guy. So, because wala tayong history of runoff elections, and for me, I don't know about the geniuses who came up with our constitution, but why no one thought about it, we don't have this culture of real coalition building, which is really a give and take, which is really a matter of faith. No, it's a matter of conviction thing. Good luck getting that in the middle of a game, right? They should have done it. Kaya nga may one sambayan proposal in the past. That's why there were some discussions between the Isko camp and Pacquiao camp and Lenny camp, etc. But eventually it petered out, and then you had Senator Lacson saying a few months ago, well, let's just go all in the game and later on we figure it out.
He said that.
Yeah, exactly.
For those who are lagging in the surveys, then let's bow out.
And I think now is the time. But my point is, in the meantime, the other side sorted it out. I think the moment that Sara Duterte and Bongbong Marcos decided on who will be the standard bearer for the administration, the game radically changed. Because I had both Sara and Bongbong run, we would have been a completely different picture. I would have even doubted Bongbong Marcos running for the presidency had Sara decided to move forward, right? So Bongbong Marcos was 13% in the second quarter of last year. He jumped to 53%. A lot of that is the Sara Duterte numbers plus some multiplier effect and all. So this is the telltale of our situation. The opposition, the first ones to talk about unity, up until now hindi sila unified. The ones that we thought will be really head-to-head, meaning the House of Duterte and House of Marcos, na both of them were sensing it, they could stay in the game. Eventually, they had the middle persons, whether it's President Arroyo, whether it's the Romualdez's, who worked it out. And now we are seeing it. The chickens are coming home to roost for the opposition. They didn't do their assignments. They're waiting for the last minute, 11th hour. And ito nga rin yung sinasasabihin ko kung ikaw yung voter, nakaka-confuse naman lahat kayo nandyan. Wala nagbaback out. And ito pang sasabihin ko, it's possible na kung magbaback out yung ibang candidates, the numbers actually go to Bongbong Marcos. That it will further fit, he could reach 70% even, if we look at his second preference numbers.
And then that is the argument that some of the candidates would use, na parang, paano yung kung mag-back out ako, baka kay BBM lang yung mapunta.
You have to openly endorse the other candidate. Hindi pwedeng mag-back out now. Talaga, you have to openly endorse. Kaya agree ako kay Sir David na, I mean, they have to come out and really support. Hindi lang ayoko na sa laban na to at mag-walk out na ako. But I mean, for me, there's no such thing as April surprise in the Philippines. It's more like March surprise, right? Hindi
but
tayo
March
katulad ng
surprise,
US.
it's March 29. There's only 2 days
That's
left
what
to
I'm
go
saying.
for this
So
month.
if there was going to be big alignments, realignments, ito na yan, second half of March. In fairness naman, we see some interesting discussions in Mindanao, for instance. We see some of the supposed supporters of President Duterte actually backing Leni Robredo, the whole Rosa, for instance. There's a little bit of Isa there, Isko and Sara. So I think some realignments are happening in some of the... So for me, ito yung paradox eh. The surveys are showing a very clear front runner, and yet maraming undecided among the traditional politicians, including the current president, on who they're going to endorse. So yun lang yung paradox sa akin. If the surveys are so compelling, why is the president and a lot of people actually not siding with him yet? Do they know something we don't know? Are there other surveys?
Or maybe they're hoping for something.
Or they're negotiating for something. Kasi para sa akin, ang mga politiko, they got the... gamay nila yung pulso ng tao eh. Basa nila eh. Sometimes they're even better than us social scientists or mga people are doing surveys. So that's why I'm really wondering, maybe there's something they know and I don't know. Kaya hinahabol ko talaga lalo yung sa mga Mindanao politics and all. So there is a fluidity, but I think the window is really closing. I think April is too late because if maalala po natin yung elections before, April is the consolidation time. Remember that's when they had all of these expose against Duterte and all. It backfired. Duterte's numbers even went higher. So for me, we are already in that, the window is closing.
Well, Lito brought this up 2-3 weeks ago, hindi ba? And then, it's just, going so slowly, nothing's happening, I mean...
Sleepwalking into disaster. Ang fear ng iba siguro dito.
Going through the tulips. So the window's closing, it's, like I was saying kanina, it's March 29 today. 31 is 2 days away. April, mag-Holy Week pa. O, paano na?
Ako, sorry sir, for cutting in. For me, the game here is not just beating Marcos for the opposition, but the margins matter. I think a Marcos who wins 40% will be different from Marcos who wins 70%. Yung sense of confidence, sense of mission will be very, very different if he becomes the first majority-based president in recent memory since the surveys were. I think Bongbong Marcos, we could see a much more aggressive and assertive side as opposed to, let's say, a 40% a plurality-based Marcos. I think margin matters. And I think the performance of the opposition matters kasi magiging yung impact niya sa mga support base. If they lose bad, baka madidismaya yung mga supporters nila. But if they lose a little bit close, baka the opposition can still remain a bit coherent and important force after the elections. Kaya for me, at some point, Plan B will be margins game. If it's not a victory game, it should be a margins game. This is realpolitik. We are where we are, and I think the opposition has to ask some very tough questions and look at really some serious plan Bs there if they're not going to do the consolidation right on time. And I think the window is closing very fast.
So if they don't, you're saying that if they don't unite the opposition at this point in time, they can kiss any hopes of victory goodbye. Na talaga. And like you're saying, plan B na lang, margins na lang pinag-uusapan.
Yes, but margins matter too for me.
No, but do you think there is that sense that they do want to win, or they want to defeat BBM? Because even Leni herself has said before, di ba? She's going to run if BBM's running for president. And then I asked her before, late last year, on an interview, I said, do you want him disqualified or do you want to slug it out with him in an election? I would rather defeat him in an election. So there's that mindset eh.
Okay, Sir David, maybe you want to pitch in because you were one of the guys involved here. And then I'll come in.
Hindi, lang naman. Sa akin, bottom line talaga talunan si Marcos. For people like us, yung generation ko, nangapital kami. Kumbaga, we risk our lives fighting the dictatorship then. So, hindi ito punto lang ng politika. Meron akong pinaghuhugutan dito eh. Ayoko maging presidente si Marcos kasi maraming beses kaming muntik nang namatay nung panahon na estudyante kami, no? Marami akong mga kaibigan na pinatay. No? Yung mga 18 years old, no? Yung torturein bago papatayin. Ganun, no? So, sa akin, kaya ko tinutulak talaga ito, no? Hindi ito dalang lang politika lang eh, no? I think a lot of the people na who belong to my generation, ganun din ang feeling. Kaya iba yung mangyayari kung magsasama-sama kami, mas malaki yung magiging suporta. Plus, ang hindi natin tinitignan. Matagal nang hindi gumagalaw ang simbahan. Okay? Baka yung problema natin na baka hindi umabot, pwede pa rin umabot kung lahat ng mga pari, no, lahat ng mga madre, lahat ng mga obispo ay sasali diyan, hindi lang Catholic Church, no, posibleng ibang simbahan. meron panlaban. Meron pa. Kasi merong mga hinanakit din yung mga yan nung panahon ng martial law eh.
Okay.
Kaya yun yung mga obispo ngayon, yun yung time na sila yung nando doon, yung mga paring bata noon. Yun yung mga kasama namin noon eh.
Okay.
Oh.
Lito David and Richard Hilario, you're still going to stay with us until the end of the show. We're going to talk, when we come back, we're going to talk realignments on the local level and so many other things. Ang dami kasing nangyayari sabay-sabay. We'll be back after a quick break. Stay tuned. This is Politics as Usual. Welcome back to Politics as Usual. A long time ago, the 1998 elections to be exact, and yes, that is a very long time ago for this generation, a party was formed to serve as a vehicle for Renato de Villa to run for president shortly after he lost out to Joe de Venecia for the administration party's standard bearer possibility. De Villa, at that time, Defense Secretary and Armed Forces Chief of Staff before that, in the administration of Fidel Ramos, people thought could do an FVR. Ramos ran and won in 92, by the way, largely on his EDSA 1986 image and solid track record as Cory Aquino's Chief of Staff and Defense Secretary. Fast forward to 2021, Ping Lacson joins Reforma and becomes its chairman. The party president is Bebot Alvarez, who was once Speaker of the House, only to be ousted in a coup so ably supported by Sara Duterte. Just last Thursday, Partido Reforma dumped Ping Lacson in favor of Leni Robredo. So we had the rather awkward scene of Davao del Norte congressman, erstwhile Leni critic Bebot Alvarez, explaining how they came to the turning point while apologizing to the VP at the same time. So Ping had to resign for the party, saying his campaign is still a go, albeit with a different tagline. Renato de Villa, founder of Partido Reforma, joining us now via Zoom. Secretary de Villa, magandang gabi po sa inyo and thank you very much for taking the time to be with us.
Magandang gabi sa iyo, Pia, at saka sa iyo mga tagapakinig.
Sir, do you like what's happened to the party that you founded? I mean, you have this perennial smile on your face, pero sa loob, ano ba talaga ang naiisip nyo?
Sa totoo lang, gaya ng sinabi ko sa public statement ko, wala akong kamalay-malay na magkakaganon yung dalawa ni Ping at saka ni Bebot Alvarez, Congressman Alvarez. I knew it only from the announcements in the media or in the internet that Ping Lacson was going to make a public statement regarding the party, and Congressman Alvarez will have a press conference about the matter. So I just waited for it because ang position ko naman, Pia, is almost irrelevant already because Congressman Alvarez is the president of the party and Ping Lacson is the chairman. I am only the chairman emeritus, an honorary position that they gave me as founder.
Okay, well, apart from the fact, like you said, no, you only learned about it through the media. Well, do you like what happened?
Of course, I didn't like what happened, and I don't like what has happened because it's a small party as of now, and it's still trying to get on its feet and get wider support. This has been the work of both of them, but mostly of Bebot Alvarez, when he told me that he will establish grassroots members and leaders at the provincial level. So I said, maganda yan, Bebot, para lumaki naman yung partido. Binuhay kasi niya ito eh. Alam mo, Pia, I might as well explain that the party was already deleted after 2004 elections, I think. That was our last participation, wherein we fielded Frank Chavez as our senatorial candidate, and I joined, or the party joined with from the of Lito Osmeña and Aksyon Demokratiko of Raul. And we fielded Raul against GMA. Well, the rest is history. And after that, the party did not participate in any election anymore. Then in 2020, Bebot approached me and asked if he can revive the party. So I said I will check with the others and find out if they still want to revive the party, because Bebot said that and he actually called me also, Secretary Kusi wanted also to revive the party for his own purposes. So Bebot, being an original congressman of the party in 98, and he was the only one asking for it. So when he asked me if he can file the documents for the revival of the party, I gave him the go signal. And so he became the worker of the party for almost 1 year, trying to get it organized at ground level. And then later on, we formalized the organization with Ping Lacson as chairman. We have talked to Ping Lacson also before, together with Bebot, and the two of them were friends, and they agreed to run the party, so to speak.
Well, I guess that's what happens when you lose the speakership of the House. Now you have to go find a party to resurrect. Pero Secretary De Villa, what should Ping Lacson do now? I know you said that you're still going to support him, and he has said that he's still running as an independent at tuloy-tuloy lang ang kampanya. Pero sa totoo lang, ano ba talaga dapat gawin na nila ngayon? Kasi kanina, ang pinag-uusapan namin dito sa studio, together with Lito David, VP candidate, and Richard Hederian, analyst, is how some people need to get their act together and get together if they want to defeat the BBM-Sara tandem.
Yeah, actually, I'm not close to the group that is running the affairs of the party, because as I said, I'm just an honorary chairman now. So, but when I talk to Ping, he is, to me, he seemed very determined, no matter what happens, to finish the fight, so to speak. Ang sabi nga niya, lalaban tayo hanggang sa dulo. Ngayon, of course,
well,
you
sir,
and I know that
given the
reality is a little difficult for him right now, but he is not inclined to withdraw, nor he is inclined to affiliate with another party, as far as I know. Maybe there are things that I do not know.
Well, let me ask the question this way, Secretary De Villa. Kayo po, you are a PMA graduate 1957, si Ping Lacson 1971. Among PMAers, you have this way of talking to each other. And among PMAers, there's this cadet lingo. No? For example, meron kayong sinasabi na take life halimbawa, or you know. So if you were going to, have a one-on-one, a man-to-man talk with Ping Lacson, what would you tell him to do now? If you could tell him what to do.
Yeah, go ahead. I will, of course, lay out the way I see the ground right now, and continue to encourage him that we will continue to support him, because there are also many PMAers who are committed to him and are working hard to make him go up in the ladder of the surveys. So there is very little time left, and you and I know that, and that the people seem to be talking only of two sides now. But I think the fight is not over until it is over, so to speak.
Talaga, sir, kahit 2% siya sa Lilo survey.
No.
Yes?
2%.
2%.
And he's not moving up.
No.
But he is I think he is committed to his followers, and it is difficult. It will be very difficult for him to withdraw and abandon his followers, especially if there are those who are running under his wing. Pia, this is exactly what happened to me in '98. When in April I was secretly shown a survey that I cannot make it, and I was even advised to withdraw. But I found myself on the very difficult situation in terms of withdrawing, because there are we have in the party then, which was a little bit stronger than now. We had congressional candidates, we have mayors, governors, councilors, and I think if we count all the councilors after the election, I think we have had more than 500 winners down the line. But in so far as the higher level of officials are concerned, we had only, I think, 2 or 3 congressmen. Bebot was one of them. And we had no senators. And but kasi, Pia, when you are committed to a group of men, especially if these men are known to you very much and who have been with you in the service, and they are working very hard for you, you cannot simply turn your back and say, bahala na kayo. Hindi kami ganun. Kasi kami, lalo na kung nasa battlefield ka, pag may nasugatan, hindi mo pwedeng iwan, no matter what. Kaya siguro, baka ganun na nangyayari kay Ping ngayon.
Kaya in the end, si BBM na panalo.
I cannot be a predictor of that, Pia. You know me naman. I'm already retired. I'm on the sidelines.
Okay. Anyway, Secretary Rene De Villa, sir, you're going to be joining us in the last segment of the show. Di ba pumayag po kayo? So babalik na lang po kayo at the end of the show. Okay?
Oh, sige. It's up to you.
Sige.
Okay, I'll be here.
Sige, Secretary Rene De Villa. We're going to a quick break. This is Politics as Usual.